Oh, hello. Welcome to the cast. What's up, Johnny?
Man, please talk like that the whole time.
Well, usually we.
Oh gosh. All right. Hello and welcome to the FTHcast again. I'm here with Kyle, also known as Nitro Strong John. Say hello, Kyle.
Hello, hello.
And also the Grammaton Cleric, aka Nathan. Say hello. Are you there?
I'm sorry. Redo it all.
No, just keep going. Just say hi.
You died for a little
Hello.
All right. And we're here talking about video games like we've been doing for the past couple podcasts, because that's what this is about, video games. Anyway, this week though we want to touch on EA because they have been all over the news all year long, basically, starting out mainly with being voted worst company for the second year in a row for their dynamic
beast mode.
yeah, for their dynamic DLC options that they always have in their games. So what do you guys think? I mean, obviously, they're not the worst company in the world. They're probably the worst video game company in the world. Other than the fact,
I'm pretty sure oil companies are a lot worse than EA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a shame because they make great games. They just make stupid decisions about their great games. Like Mass Effect was an amazing series. Dead Space. There's others.
The Battlefield games.
Yeah, the Battlefield games. All their great sports games.
Sports.
But
No.
I don't even know if they're the worst video game company. Like I don't know. Because the DLC stuff doesn't bother me, and I guess it's because I'm an adult with a job. So if I want to buy it, I can just buy it. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it kind of sucks, but it's not like if I don't buy it, I'm losing out on a lot of stuff.
To me, the DLC thing is not so much like, oh God, I don't have money to buy it, or this or that and the other. It's more so of just like the premise of it. Like,
Yeah.
back in the day, early 90s or whatever, like if you wanted to unlock something in a game, like a special set of armor or something like that, you would just play it for 90 hours and do whatever you had to do to unlock it.
Yeah.
That way, now it's just like, oh, hey, here's $5 and, some 13-year-old kid has got his mom's Visa card and is just on there like buying this and that. And I think it kind of takes away from the, just the kind of experience of investing in a game to get, a cool whatever, armor or weapon, something like that.
But I mean, I guess you can't blame them from a business standpoint. I mean, if people are going to buy it, why not do it?
Right. I mean, yeah, I agree there.
And people get on them so much because, like, saying, oh, they're charging this for DLC for this, but, like, the other games like Team Fortress, it's free to play, yeah, but, like, they'll release a hat and charge you $4 for it or $5, and, like, 1 million people will buy it just for a freaking hat.
Yeah, I think that's
right.
I think that's kind of key to the whole DLC problem in general. Is these games are competing now with free to play games that have the same business model, and so they want to milk it. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about just milking money out of people, and they do that with DLC maps and they do that with DLC content. I guess for me, the only problem I really have with it is when it just doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense to have that kind of DLC. Like with the Mass Effect, or Mass Effect 3 specifically, where they had DLC that was on the disc. I mean, that's not DLC. That's just that's
right.
Paying to unlock something you've already bought. You had a physical copy of it in your hand, and then you paid $5, and they said, okay, now you can play this. And I was like, well, I just paid $60.
Yeah.
Just charge me $65 at the door if that's what you're gonna do. Those kind of decisions, obviously. I mean, that's bad. But like, I don't know, with Dead Space 3, what you paid to get some mining nodes, or not mining nodes, but it's from like materials for your guns and stuff.
Right.
Like, if I was, well, I do work all the time, and I haven't got to play Dead Space 3 yet. But if I really wanted to upgrade my guns, or I needed to, and I didn't have time to go around and look for crap, then yeah, I might do that. Just speed up the time so I can beat the game already, because I have other games to play and I have a job to go to, you know. So it's definitely kind of weird. I think there's a lot of bandwagoning on that though, with the whole worst company. I mean, I think that's obvious though.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I want to know. I mean, obviously, I don't think that they're like legitimately the worst company in the world either. I mean, but who is hosting this worst company poll or whatever, and then who is voting for it? Because I mean,
yeah.
like, don't get me wrong, I get just as upset as anybody about, like, are you kidding me? Day one DLC, you know, but I don't seek out the
website.
means to downvote EA. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come on, like I've got better things to do. I just, like you said, you know, I just won't buy it or just not even acknowledge that it's there and just, you know, do whatever.
I think it's those mythical creatures that live on the internet called trolls
Oh, okay.
that find those things and are just huge assholes. But yeah,
You're right. It's become a bandwagon thing too. Now it's just like every gamer's just like, yeah, we're supposed to hate EA.
yeah.
Right.
And for me, it's hard to hate EA because I've played so many other games that I just absolutely love, and I've been doing that for a really, really long time. Like, EA's been around forever, and they make good games. They've just recently, you know, they've just made some weird decisions with DLC, but they're not.
And that whole SimCity thing didn't.
I was about to say that was probably their worst mistake so far, and I think that showed pretty hardcore.
Another thing that does bother me about it. And I don't know, maybe I was reading the quotes different in my head. I don't know if there's a video. I haven't seen it. I think of I think it was their CEO. He more or less was just kind of said, yeah, sure, we made some mistakes, but yeah, we're just going to keep on being EA. And pretty much was just like, yeah, we made a mistake with, you know, there being the DRM on SimCity, but oh well, kind of get over it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I read it, or I mean, took it. It wasn't really like, it was like dancing around an apology, kind of like, oh, we might be the worst company in the world, and we made a few mistakes, but we're still here, and you're still buying everything that we're selling you. So
yeah.
But did he end up stepping down, or was it somebody else that stepped down out of EA?
Oh yeah, I think their CEO did step down.
Yeah,
I want to think I remember seeing that. I'm not 100% positive.
I think it was after the SimCity thing. I can't remember.
I was hoping maybe you got that confused with somebody from Nintendo. I don't know.
Not yet. Apparently, though, Nintendo, the CEO of Nintendo will step down by the end of the year if they don't make like $20 gajillion or something stupid. But speaking of that, you were talking about how EA was saying you'll still buy their games. Not only that, they're still getting the major licenses, because this last week they got all the Star Wars games. Every single Star Wars game that's going to be made in the next, I think it was for a few years.
For Infinity.
Maybe it's for Infinity years. They got all the Star Wars games, which is basically, a lot of people are saying, okay, well, they're just going to make these games that have already started or people are rumored about, which I think is,
which is cool,
rumors,
because I want to play Star Wars 1313.
I was going to say,
amazing.
I'll buy the heck out of Star Wars 1313, no matter who makes it.
Yeah. And that's going to be a third-person shooter, so, you know, you can equate that to things like Dead Space and Mass Effect. And then, of course, there's the chances of making another Battlefront, which apparently was a pretty awesome game. I don't think I ever got to play it.
But that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Battlefield game. So, I mean, there's obviously talented people there to make those kind of games that have already been, you know, to redo those franchises and stuff. So I'm pretty excited. I'm kind of hoping they do. I don't know. I mean, obviously BioWare's pretty much ruined KOTOR with the online Star Wars KOTOR or whatever, but hopefully they'll do another RPG or something like that. I think that'd be pretty exciting. Or another first-person shooter that's really good.
And I don't know if it's because of the Star Wars tie between like Disney and Lucasfilm and now EA and Star Wars. I don't know if I'm just making this like subconsciously, but like I can't help but think of Disney when I hear this. Like, oh, they're making the Star Wars games, and now there's going to be a Star Wars game coming out, or excuse me, a Star Wars movie coming out like every year starting in 2015. And then
like the next 6 years or something.
Yeah, and then that in turn makes me think of kind of Marvel's approach to how they're doing their movies, and I'm by no means a Marvel fan. I'm more of a Batman, Superman, DC kind of guy.
Right.
But I can't, like, you literally. I feel like every month there's a new Iron Man movie coming out, and I don't know. Like, I could not tell you, because I feel like it's just one gigantic movie that's just been released. Like, I don't know what's going on, because those come out all the time. Like,
Yeah.
there's always some Marvel movie coming out, and that makes me not want to see it even more. Like, I'm like, oh, this came out. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I think the best part about this though is they gave the license to EA, and then they said, look, our hands are off of it. Like, we're not touching anything else. The only thing we'll do with Star Wars is movies, and I think they're gonna make, if any like mobile games or any crappy games like that come out, that'll be Disney. But otherwise, they're just letting EA make the games. That, I guess, as long as they're making money, Disney's going to let them make whatever they want.
Right. And I got to say, if there was a Star Wars Battlefront 3 that used any form of the Frostbite engine, I think that would be pretty awesome.
That's part of the agreement. They all have to use a Frostbite engine. So that means 1313 is going to have to be converted over to the Frostbite engine, which could scream the death of that game. I mean, if that ends up being too difficult and costing them too much money.
I hope not. I mean, the small footage you saw from E3, it looked pretty incredible, but that could have been on PC. I don't know what engine it was running on, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who was developing it before. I guess it was LucasArts or somebody that LucasArts has hired, but yeah, they obviously weren't. It wasn't EA, and they obviously weren't using the Frostbite engine, but so it'll be interesting. Oh yeah, and we haven't really talked about this, but we can talk about this a little bit. How about Battlefield 4 17-minute preview that EA put out? I thought it looked amazing, but I don't know how amazing it's going to be. I don't think I've ever played it. I mean, I've played some Battlefield games, but I've never played through a single player.
Actually, funny you bring that up. I don't know if it was just ignorance on my part, but I never played any of the Battlefield 3 campaign other than the demo. I remember playing that when it came out. At least I think it was the demo. But I've just started playing the Battlefield 3 campaign, and I think it's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, man.
So that trailer kind of got me thinking. I was like, huh? Maybe I need to go back and play that. And I'm playing it, and if they keep kind of exponentially getting that better, I'm pretty excited for it. So
the graphics look. I mean, obviously that Frostbite 3 engine. It's ridiculous. I almost wonder. It's kind of weird. It was
on PC, but still, it's going to look really good on console.
Yeah, because it's going to be on next-gen consoles, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. They wouldn't make a new engine and then just not put it on the next more powerful consoles. I mean, it's got to be on the PlayStation 4 and stuff.
Okay, here's a question. Go. If it's released for next-gen consoles, do you also think that it will be released for current gen? And if so, which one would you buy?
They already said it's coming out for current gen.
Yeah. I think,
which kind of pissed me off.
No, they got to do that, though, because they don't know how these other consoles are going to sell. And
I understand,
12 bajillion people have Xboxes.
I still don't like it.
No, yeah, it is kind of weird. I hope it, doesn't. I don't think it's going to hurt the next-gen versions of the game, but it might hurt the sales of next-gen consoles if people know that they can just go ahead and get these games on the old consoles,
right.
But I'm not, I don't know. I would, personally, I'm getting it on next gen. If I get it, it's going to be on next gen.
Yeah, sure. I think the same thing. At least if next gens are coming out shortly after, because usually Battlefield games come out in October.
Right.
And if a next gen isn't coming out till end of November or something like that, that would kind of suck. Or
yeah.
Especially if I can't get my hands on one until the first of the year, I may not be able to wait.
What about you, Kyle? Answer your own question.
I don't know. I don't know why that's so tough for me. There would have to be something to draw me to the next gen. Because like I said, still all my friends have current gen. I can't see one person saying, "Oh, I got it on PS4 or whatever, Xbox Infinity," which some people now think it's going to be called, but
yeah,
and that being oh, okay, I'll go spend whatever X amount of money to just get that. It'd probably be well, everybody else still has it on 360 or PS3. So
Yeah.
we'll probably just leave it on there for a while. But at the same time, I'm sure as they get closer to coming out, we see the boxes, and I get hooked in from all the marketing. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to buy one of those, and I'll have it day one or something stupid.
Yeah. Well, me and Nathan will be on the next gen consoles, so if you do decide, you won't be alone.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, for me, I know I'm gonna get the next gen console, so I don't want to invest anything in this console right now. Like, I want to save up in case it's like $5,000 to get the next gen console. So I just don't want to invest any money, even though I do all the time. I rent movies on my Xbox, and I think I bought what did I buy? I bought it was a fighting game. It wasn't Dead or Alive. It's
Did you buy the new Injustice game?
no, it's an older fighting game.
Oh.
Soul Calibur, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty fun. I'm absolutely horrible at it. It's the hardest game I've ever played in my life.
I suck at fighting games. That is not my forte at all.
There's a meta game in there with the buttons and how you do it and combos. I don't get it, but I just like mashing buttons and stuff. So, also on the topic of the Frostbite 3 that we kind of got off of, it's so powerful. Well, the Frostbite 2 engine, first of all, is so powerful that it barely works on the Wii U. So EA, since they're moving everything to Frostbite 3, is not developing games for the Wii U basically at all. I mean, that's kind of what they said. They're just like, nah, never mind. We just won't do it. It's not worth it. Which it's not worth it. They've sold, like 3 million, I don't even know if it's that many, Wii U's in the United States over the last, since it released.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
It's been horrible.
I don't know. I get just really confused when I even try to think about Nintendo. I seriously, I go into a deep, philosophical debate in my head about Nintendo and their entire business practice.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I really don't get it. But
Well, I remember when they were marketing for their Wii U, it was kind of like a thing like, our games will look just as good as the PS3. I'm like, this is supposed to be a next-gen console. Why do I want it to look just as good as a console that's 5 years old?
Well, that's... Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I was just going to say it's a shame. It's... I mean, obviously it's a big loss for Wii U, but it's not a big loss for EA. I mean, EA's...
They're going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, the only game I know that's on there that's by EA right now is Assassin's Creed. That's EA, right?
No.
No, that's...
Then I don't even know of it. I don't even know of a game that's on there that's made by EA. And
well, that's the thing. I mean, even looking at the Wii, how many games that weren't first-party Nintendo games were huge successes on the Wii? I mean,
I can't think of any.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like people were like, you played it on 360, but have you played Call of Duty on the Wii? I mean, come on.
There was a couple, but they
people play it.
yeah. There was a couple cult classics that were on there. Oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to remember the names. One of them is a really weird, surreal fighting game. Another one was Monster Hunter Tri, but even those were just cult games. They weren't big games. They were just games that were popular amongst people who owned Wii's. They weren't system sellers like a lot of these Call of Duties and stuff can very easily be.
And I feel also too that the Wii U kind of, the whole thing about the Wii was just it could appeal to everyone because it was, I mean, you had very young kids and old people.
Yeah.
You could play bowling, it didn't take anything to, I mean, because you're using your hand, but for some reason to me there's something about the Wii U that doesn't quite grab you as.
Well, it helped at the time too when Wii came out that that was the new thing, motion control. It wasn't done before, so I guess that's kind of the big selling point for it. And at this point, it's everyone's tired of that. It's games just don't play well on it, and other than if you want to dance in front of your screen and look like a retard.
Right. Yeah.
I know you like those dancing games, Nate.
And that's pretty much the only popular game on the Wii U, which is a shame because they have that Wii U gamepad. But the way that's designed is it's still a pain to play with more than one person on that machine because you can only have one Wii U pad. So the other people are going to have to be playing in a completely different manner. And I might sneeze here.
Now, Paul, since I know you have one, I'll direct this question towards you. What does that, like, just out of the box, what controllers does the Wii U come with? I just want to make sure if I'm
just the
understanding
pad.
correctly.
Just the
So,
pad.
for any, I mean, to me, I think kind of the whole thing was, oh, you play on the gamepad and other people can play like with different types of controllers. So, say you didn't have a Wii already, so you get this Wii U, and then you're like, oh, I want to play with my friends, so let me go buy
Yeah.
4 Wiimotes
And nunchucks. Some of
and
the games you
yeah,
still
so
need
it's
nunchucks. And they have to be the newer controllers. You can't buy the old
right.
controllers. They have to have that little extra
That
gyro
Wii U
in there.
Plus or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Wii Plus, Wiimote Plus.
Yeah. It's all just a big old shame. So yeah, EA's pulling out. They're definitely not doing it, and it's just it marks a dark, dark day for Wii U. I think this whole it's funny because they marked Nintendo. I don't know if you've heard this, but they said that this is the year of Luigi,
Right.
which Luigi's the dimwit little brother who's a scaredy cat. So it's really not a good marketing scheme for them because the Wii U's kind of the dumb, weird little brother of the Wii. Of the whole Nintendo universe, really.
Consoles in general.
Yeah. It's just.
And as much as I hate to say it, but I feel like if the Wii U doesn't, do crazy good in the next year or two, that Nintendo will just stop making consoles and just focus on developing games.
If they do that, I might cry. Literally, it brings a tear to my eye just thinking about it. Like, I don't know if I could play Legend of Zelda
on
anything. On anything. I can't even say it out loud.
Yeah.
On anything but a Nintendo. I can't say that. Play Legend of Zelda on Xbox? It sounds disgusting. Ugh.
There it is.
It makes me want to throw up. Could you imagine? This is what's going to happen. The new Xbox is going to come out. Nintendo's going to go down. They're going to release some Legend of Zelda. People can be like, "Oh, nobody cares about Legend of Zelda anymore." So to market it, they're gonna re-release Ocarina of Time HD on the Xbox.
Oh my gosh.
HD.
Yeah, HD.
3D 4K.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time, just because that's the only thing they can sell. Yeah, I don't know.
Now let me against that argument. Let me give you my counter argument. Imagine playing a Legend of Zelda game on a actual current gen console in stunning 1080 resolution. It would be unreal.
It would be. They're gonna do it. They're gonna make a Legend of Zelda, and it's not gonna be weird like Skyward Sword, even though Skyward Sword was actually pretty good. And people are gonna buy it, and it's gonna be awesome. But I digress. So the last thing with EA, which kind of I don't know, to me these few last movements by EA, the not using the Wii U, even though that's kind of a bad thing for Nintendo, I think it's a smart move for EA, and this getting all the Star Wars games, and then they're distancing themselves from these gun licenses, which they never really had, but basically they're just not going to use the names. I think they're still going to use the images, but maybe they're still going to use the names, but they're just not going to put the names on the weapons themselves. There's something weird like that. I think all these moves are really good, especially this one because of how the NRA and all these people that were lobbyists and how they were going about getting around these gun licenses was working, and the NRA is now against video games because apparently guns don't kill people, video games kill people. So I think this move also just kind of shows how EA is like saying we're gamers. And we want to make good games and good licensed games and stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think about this whole gun licensing? If you know anything about it, it's really confusing.
To be honest, this is kind of the first time I'm hearing about it, but I haven't been on the interwebs as much as I used to be here in the last few days or so. But to me, I mean, I don't know. Is it sort of a I mean, does it have? Are they trying to get away with something, like not distance themselves from like gun violence, like you said? Is it?
No. They're still going to use the guns in their games. They're still going to make those same games, but they're not going to credit the gun makers like they used to.
That's what I mean. Is that for the simple fact that somebody can't be like, oh, there's an M16 in Battlefield. I'm going to go out and get a real M16. Like,
yeah.
Is it going to be called like the
No, I think there was a little bit. There wasn't real like money exchange saying you can use our gun if you pay us this much. It was more of.
Okay,
It was more of a
I see what you're
license. I can't even say it. Licensing in a way that it was like, okay, if you spend this money kind of with this charity or with this group, then you can use our guns. But there was nothing really official about it. There was just kind of like weird movement of money, and there was nothing illegal about it either. And even them using the guns without their permission is still not illegal as long as as long as the branding's not on the gun. I'm pretty sure. I think they can even still call it an M16 or an AK-47 or whatever.
They won't say like Smith and Wesson or Remington or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I'm following you now.
And EA's even in the past, I think it was with Battlefield, they had like links to the websites of the gun makers and stuff, which put them in bad light. But now they're saying, okay, we're getting away from these groups, and while they're not saying it this way, it definitely kind of looks like they're saying, okay, if you're going to speak out against video game violence causing all this crap, then we're going to not pay attention to you anymore.
Right.
We're not going to give you credit for making these cool guns.
Which I'm fine with. Whatever. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely kind of a whatever topic, but I think it's kind of interesting that they're doing it at all. And there's nothing in the courts about it. I mean, they're just kind of doing it. I think there was something about them being in. There was one licensing thing about a helicopter, and I can't remember that either. I should have wrote it down. And that they're in the courts about, but it's not a big deal. But it's kind of the same thing. They're just arguing over names.
I think I know what you're talking about. I've heard that too, but I can't remember exactly what. That sent off a few little light bulbs in my head. I've heard that too, but again, I more or less shouldn't have said anything because I have nothing to contribute to it. So
right, it's on the internet. Look it up.
It's on the internet. It's something.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway, so any last thoughts about EA? What you think about the recent happenings this year, the weird ups and downs?
Too big to fail.
Yeah, that's true.
That no matter what, from just an economic, I guess, standpoint, that they are a perfectly elastic good. They could seriously, like, they could literally do whatever they want and probably charge whatever they want, and people are still going to buy Battlefield, people are still going to buy Mass Effect, or whatever. Exactly. And so unless everyone literally was like, nope, not buying anymore, they're just going to keep on doing what EA does and just
they won't buy Medal of Honor. No matter how many Medal of Honors they make, they won't buy Medal of Honor anymore.
Man, let me tell you. Listen, EA, I'm going to put this in the idea jar.
Okay.
Don't annualize Medal of Honor. Annualize Battlefield Bad Company and have Battlefield like the regular Battlefield be your like what your Modern Warfare is to Call of Duty. Battlefield be 1 year. Battlefield Bad Company be your off year. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Get rid of Medal of Honor. I appreciate the attempt, but
it's not working.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Medal of Honor is dead at this point. I think they've said that. I think they said they're gonna stop making it. Nathan, any last thoughts?
No, man. I'll still be buying their games.
Yeah. Day one DLC and everything.
I don't know about that, but I love Battlefield too much.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody for coming by. I appreciate you two for hanging out and talking this evening.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And no problem. No problem at all. If you guys like the podcast, please subscribe to the YouTube channel because this is where we'll be posting it. And obviously like it if you liked it and leave a comment for any ideas that we can talk about or if you want to discuss anything. And we really appreciate your time, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.